We'll get started here. Oakland's a tough opponent. They've got some momentum going right now. 2 wins these last 2 weeks, and coming off a mini bye, third straight home game. So they're doing some really good things. You've seen a team that's really made progress over the course of the 2 years they've been there. A team I followed, got a lot of connections to that staff, and obviously we hired 2 coaches from that staff. So it's a team that we've always followed closely, and they've done a nice job in a lot of areas. You look at the offense, and they're really top 10 and rushing. They're doing a great job in passing, third down, red zone. Statistically, they're doing a great job in all areas. And then, defense, they've done a really nice job. Their rushing defense is up there. I know they're battling through some injuries, but you can really see a team that's done some good things and creating some momentum for themselves right now. So it's important that we're really focused and dialed in. We got some travel ahead of us, and our guys so far have started Wednesday strong the way we want it. And now we just got to keep building on that and find some momentum and go out there and get a win.
What led to the decision to cut Preston Brown yesterday?
We just need to keep mixing up that room. Like I said Monday, we need to keep challenging those guys and find someone to step up and be consistent and be a leader in that group. And so far, the production just hasn't been there. And so that was a decision we felt like we had to make.
Will A.J. Green practice today? Is he still considered day-to-day?
Still considered day-to-day. Yep.
Will he practice?
I don't anticipate him being out there with the team today.
Will linebacker come off the practice squad? Does it look like at this point?
It's likely. We'll keep going through the week and making those decisions.
That may not be the intent, but do you think a move like that really kind of grabs the attention of guys? They're really on notice.
It could. It just is, where we're at right now in the season, and just some of the things that keep happening during games. You just felt like you got to change it up, and whether that's called sending a message or not, I don't care. We're just trying to find a win, and we're trying to find some consistency there, in the middle of that defense, and so that's what led to the decision.
What have doctors said about the AJ swelling in the ankle?
It really is just left to day to day. Let's see how he feels day to day and make a decision from there. So get through today, and tomorrow will be a new day, and we'll see where he's at.
Do you have an idea of when he will start running again?
No.
Timetable?
No, I don't. I mean, he's still doing all the workouts with the trainers and all that stuff. But he won't be practicing like he did last Monday with us. He'll still be doing the rehab stuff with the trainers today.
You talk about following Oakland closely, and you look at where they were at last year at this time. Do you see similarities, and what do you view when you look at the way they have made the jump, year 1, year 2, to how you hope it looks like?
Well, every team's a little bit different, but just knowing they stayed strong. I know they probably didn't have the year last year they thought they would have, but they stuck together and found ways to create some momentum. We played them week 1 last year when I was in LA, and it was a good football team that gave us a great run there, and we won it in the fourth quarter. And I know they did that to some other teams, and so they've just done a good job staying the course and not, they've just done a nice job.
Did you take anything from your experience of being in training camp under John Gruden that you used today?
I got cut the first day of training camp, so he didn't let me get that far. But I was there in the off season. He was a great teacher. Really good. So much of in the meetings you're dealing with installs and bringing things to life and getting people's attention. He was always really good in that because he's really smart and detailed. My college coach, Bill Callahan, and him are very close. They coached together a long time, so there was a lot of continuity there for me playing at Nebraska, and then the short off season I had there. Very similar offense, similar verbiage. I think they probably just brought me in because I could call the plays in the rookie minicamp. In hindsight, those are the things you start to figure out as you start coaching. That made a little bit of sense. They could evaluate the other players while I got out there and called the plays correctly. But it's all good. He's always been really good to me, in our relationship over the last however many years. He's worked Monday Night Football when I was in Miami. And so, he's a good coach, and he's always treated the guys on our staff really well.
Does Brian Callahan's experience with John Gruden and the organization so recently, knowing some of the personnel, knowing the mindset of some of the coaches, do you think that's helpful?
It always helps, especially with the personnel. When you've been around players, what makes them tick. Schematically, everybody evolves over time. Just like when we play the Rams, everybody's evolving as the season goes, and so you don't want to look too far into that because sometimes it gets you in a little bit of a trap. But and we watch the tape and we form our own opinions that way.
Any updates on Drew?
Drew won't play this week. We're going to take Drew week to week. But right now he'll be inactive this week, and we'll take it week to week with him. High ankle sprain.
Zach, when you're in your first year as head coach and the team's 0-9, do you have to guard against those thoughts that creep in, like, man, nothing's going right, nothing's working? Do you have to guard against that at times?
Yeah, you have to find a way to find positives, and If you're dropping your head every day, you walk in the building and around then we're not going to get anything accomplished. And so we all still believe, and I know I keep preaching that, but that's the truth. And so we just have to attack every single day and try to keep getting better. And I thought we had a really productive walkthrough just now. I'm excited to get out there with my warm clothes on and get some stuff accomplished with this practice. I mean, I hope you should feel the energy right now that we still have, so we're fired up. This is another opportunity. It's going to be a little bit warmer weather. That's going to be kind of be nice. But we're excited to get there and play this game.
Ask Ryan Finley about his leadership style, and he says juice and energy, which I guess can mean a lot of things when you say juice. But what do you see from his personality, his leadership style?
His attention to detail right now is really good. I think he's got really high standards for himself, and he doesn't want to walk on the field unprepared in any way, shape, or form. Those are the things that I've seen that have really stuck out with him. Just the time he's spending around the building, making sure that he is able to do his job effectively before he holds the other players to that same standard. And that's critical for a young player, to show them that everyone knows young players are going to make mistakes. But when their intent is the right way and that their preparation is better than anybody else's, and they hold themselves to that high standard and they take responsibility when a play doesn't go accordingly because it was their fault, then the players will flock to that. And then you're able to start, hey, do this, you need to do this better. Not pointing fingers necessarily, but making sure that everybody's accountable for how they're playing.
He had a couple of physical mistakes, obviously, that he's regretful of, and everybody is, the turnovers, but he sounded like mentally he felt pretty good. He said there are a couple of them that he would like to maybe have had back.
Yep.
But overall, he felt like the mental part of it, getting you out of bad protection into good, plays into good, all that, he seemed pretty good with it.
I thought he played with confidence. When you watch him in the pocket and they're bringing zero blitz and he's having to move around, you saw a guy that wasn't unsure of where everybody was at or he knew what was supposed to be happening, and he had some subtle pocket movements and escaped some bad situations. And, everyone's got to be held accountable too. There's probably some that people would point the finger and say, hey, bad throw there. No, not so fast. It's everybody's got to be on the same page and be detailed with what they're doing. Certainly, you saw a couple incompletions where it's just chemistry working with guys. And that's only going to improve as we keep going. And so that leads to him probably saying, I'd like to have that one back because now I get a better feel for how someone's running that route, and I do it differently next time. And those are things that we're going to continue to learn from as the season goes. But I thought he showed a lot of positives to build on. The way he approached the last game and played in that game, and now going forward, he's got some good opportunities in front of him.
Are you seeing the effort that you'd like to see out of the entire roster right now?
Yeah, I am. I mean, it's not perfect. There are times that you can point out loaves in the games, but I think overall, if you're talking about just generally overall from the team, we're still seeing guys compete. And unfortunately, that game got away from us. But I still saw, you can point to a lot of good examples on tape in the fourth quarter where guys are still doing their all to create some momentum, score points, get some stops, to be encouraged by.
Moving forward, how cognizant are you of who's giving effort?
Of course. No doubt. This is when it's the toughest. Like I said it on Monday. This is as hard as it's going to be. So you get a chance to really look at everybody and figure out who wants it. Who is this so important to that it kills you when we're out there getting beat and not doing well enough and someone's not playing up to standard. That's what you really get a chance right now to really kind of get down to bare bones and figure out who wants to be here and who likes football.
Do you think Alex Erickson goes?
He's day to day. He's a tough guy, so start with that and make your own assumptions from there. And he's going to do everything he can to get healthy and get going. Won't participate in the live activities today, but we'll take it day to day with him. And he's a tough guy.
You're kind of low on receivers.
We're a little low on receivers.
You might have to make a move there.
We'll see. We'll get through the week, and we feel like we got good personnel on offense, and allows us to be in a good position there with some decisions as we go.
What's he dealing with?
Back.
You mentioned seeing the effort from different guys, or like he talked about. Is this the biggest evaluation period these last few weeks of the season, just to see, like you said, see who's going to be here in the future?
Not biggest. I would just say you continue to evaluate the growth of every guy. Are guys getting better? Are they fixing the errors that they've been making? We can't do anything about the last 9 games. It's behind us. It's over. We can start with Oakland And, and we talked about starting over after the bye. So we're 0-1, own that one. And now we got to continue to get better. So the errors we made last week that allowed the game to get away from us, don't make the same mistakes twice. And so that's what we're looking at, is which players are just making their improvement to help us get this first win. And I've been encouraged from what I've seen from the guys.
What kind of production? The effort's okay defensively, if that's the case. Is there mental apprehension? I mean, are guys just like, instead of just letting it all go, they're just a little bit apprehensive about it?
Yeah, it's just the level of detail, and it gets exposed exponentially when you're playing the team that we just played. Because if you were off by a step or just a half second late with some hesitation, good luck to you. And that's what they've done to some teams. And so it's unfortunately, like I said, it's tenfold when you play that style of offense that we just played against.
Are you pleased with the production you've seen out of the rookie class so far, and if not, or if so, why?
Well, I don't prefer to look at the class as a whole. It's just each individual. And I do think the guys that are out there playing are getting better. And so, yeah, as I look at that class, they've contributed. They're all getting better. It's important to them. It's every single guy you see hurts right now. They're not used to losing. They don't like this. I think that their effort and their attention to detail has been good, and they're doing what they can to improve.
How much output should one reasonably expect from a rookie class in any given year?
That's a good question. I just can evaluate each player in their entirety, and I'm kind of flashing through the class right now, and each guy is doing their best to get better each week.
Will you guys send anyone to Atlanta for the Kaepernick workout?
I mean, our personnel staff does a great job evaluating everyone that's on the wire and available to us. And I often don't talk to our scouts every week to see where they're going on Saturdays and Sundays, because they go out there to college games and evaluate guys. And I trust that we'll form an educated opinion on all the guys that are available.
What does Hopkins give you? What did Hopkins give you on Sunday with the he's smart, number one, and that's critical for your center to be able to make all the right calls and get you the right protections. So his communication with Ryan has been really good through that first week. So there's just that stability there with Trey, that he's going to get his head in the right direction. He's going to get guys lined up and make the right calls and take some of the pressure off of a young quarterback. But been pleased with the progress that Trey's making. So he's got some high grades from other. He seems to be probably maybe the most consistent offensive lineman.
I would say that he's been consistent over the course of the year. I don't worry about the grades of other things, but Trey's been somebody who is certainly turning in the right direction.
So to the best of your knowledge, you're not aware of, you don't know what the plan is for the Kaepernick?
I'd prefer not to announce where all our scouts are going all the time, but I feel good about the information we'll gather on any workout. John Ross is back.
What? If he practices well, he can go play.
He can't. We just activated the 21-day window.
You have the 2 week
Yeah, so he's got a 21-day window. So it's 8 games, but we had the bye week mixed in there.
Right.
So he won't be eligible to come back until the Cleveland game in December. But we start that 21-day window now where he can practice. So, you won't give him a lot of team reps necessarily with the ones, but he gets a chance to get back out there and run some routes and catch some balls. And so it'll be good to start that progression for him, because the more we can get some weapons back, the more it's going to help us. And so it's encouraging to see him.
Will he be a full go, or will he be limited?
Well, he doesn't get to play this weekend, so you have the opportunity to ease him into it and just make sure it's not just full blast day one. But he feels really good, and he's going to take a lot of reps, and so you get a chance to ease him into the next 3 weeks and make sure that he's ready to go whenever that game rolls around in December.
How close is Trey Patrick to coming back?
That's not sure yet. I can't answer that one. He's still week to week at this point.
Zach, what the Ravens tight ends were able to do, how concerned are you with Waller and how much they feature him?
Yeah, well, he's a great player for him, and they use him a lot of different ways. He's certainly one of their primary weapons. And so it is a concern, because those tight ends made a lot of good plays, and some of them they were a little more open than they should have been, and sometimes it was tight coverage and they made those catches. And so that's really a challenge to our linebackers and safeties to step up with this matchup we got against their tight end group.